Hello, everybody. It's good to see you all. I'm hoping everyone had a great weekend and that you're ready to take on this week. And no matter what challenges you will face, you will just face them head on because you know that things will get better once you invest your time and your energy. So today I just want to talk to you about the importance of knowing what you want. So the mindset motivation theme for today is know what you want. I know it sounds pedantic for me to tell you that. People always take it for granted that they know what they want, right? But one of the major obstacles that stand in our way many times when we try to attain success is that we are not sure about what we want. We're not clear about what we want. And it has been said by many persons, including Rosetta Thurman, who is the founder of Happy Black Woman. Hi, Miss McKinley, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining. Rosetta Thurman says that you cannot get what you want if you don't know what you want. I know it sounds a little bit simplistic, and some people might say it's a given. I know what I want, but many times we're not clear. We think we want something, and then halfway down the line, we realize that we were on the wrong path, that that's not what we want, and we will inevitably become somewhat frustrated, and some people become daunted, and some people are ready to give up because they realize that they're maybe too far gone along the wrong path. Today, I just want to remind you that it's never too late to make a switch. It's never too late to be decisive, to get decisive about the distinctive goals that you want to set. It's never too late. Now is as good a time as any for you to do that. And so today I want to focus on three main factors. The first thing is the importance of planning ahead. The second thing is how knowing what you want will help you to save time. And finally, when you know what you want, this will help you to reduce frustration. So again, for those people who are just joining, there are three main themes I want to cover in this discussion about knowing what you want. The first one is it's of utmost import that you plan ahead. The second one is when you plan ahead, you save time. And finally, when you know what you want and you're decisive about it, then it helps to reduce frustration. So on to the first topic that I'm discussing with you today, guys. Hi, Latoya. Hi, Marvin. It's good to see you all. Hi, Nordian. Saw you jump on earlier. Thanks a lot for joining. So the first point I want to discuss is the importance of planning ahead. When you plan ahead, it reduces stress. It gives you a better vision of the future. And there are no guarantees. We know that. You could have all the plans in the world and things still don't turn out the way you want them to. But what it does is that it gives you some sort of settled mind, some sort of peace of mind, because it gives you a clear idea as to where you're headed. And as such, when you're able to plan ahead, you're able to prepare for upcoming goals, for upcoming tasks that you have to perform. And it was Whitney Young who says that it is better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. Hi, David. Thank you so much. You're absolutely right. If you fail to plan, you have to plan to fail. And even right now, I am dealing with a challenge of my own that every single day it is reminding me that I need to do more. I need to be more. I need to plan better. Because it is almost inevitable that if you do not plan, if you do not strategize, you are going to fail. And some people who do not fail, who didn't plan properly, are just lucky. Or maybe they had other skills that they were able to draw on at that moment. But what you have to realize is that you cannot apply that to all areas of your life. And if you want to attain maximum potential, it is not enough to just allow things to happen, to allow life to take its course. You need to plan so that you can make decisive decisions, that you can become precise about the particular goals that you want, and that you can put steps in place to achieve those goals. Hi, Mr. Medar, thanks for joining. So that's the importance of planning ahead. It gives you the opportunity to get to your specific task that you want to achieve faster. It allows you to become more precise and direct about your goals. So when you're precise, then you can focus now because you know specifically what it is that you want. And in the post for today, I was speaking about being specific. And I used an analogy which I think is quite fitting. If it is that you want a car, you know within yourself what type of car you like, and you already know that you cannot just walk into a store today and buy that car, but if you're able to put certain things in place, you may be able to afford it. So when I say you have to plan ahead, it also ties in with being specific about the goal that you want to achieve. Because if you're someone like me who writes down goals and you say to yourself that I want a car, it's so vague because there's so many different types of cars in existence. So it's very vague in your head. So you don't really find yourself pushing, to get that car. And one of the things too, when you just say, I want a car, it's like you trick your mind and your mind start believing that you've already achieved that car. So you don't do the most. You don't do everything that you can do to attain it. But if you're very specific, like I like Mercedes-Benz cars. So if you're very specific and you say to yourself, you know what, I need a 2017 Mercedes-Benz E-Class and I need a white one. And you put that on your vision board or on your goal board or whatever it is that you have, or on your writing pad, that you write down your goals for the year, long term and short term. If you put that down, you know specifically what you want. Your next step is this. Now that you have decided what type of car you want, you now need to go and check out the prices for this kind of car. Are you going to buy it brand new or are you going to buy a used car? Well, in this case, it's a 2017 car, so most likely it's brand new. So you know how much it's going to cost. Do you plan on buying this car cash, or do you plan on having a car note? And if you're going to have a car note, or if you're going to buy it cash, do you now need to go and take a loan? Who is going to give you that loan and how will you qualify for it? So once you have clearly set out that this car is going to cost me an arm and a leg, this is what I need to do. So now you can start planning ahead, whether you're going to put some money aside in a special bank account so that you can have enough to get that loan or have enough to buy that car cash. You now have a clear idea as to where you're headed. And that's a materialistic possession, but that's just one example. This notion of planning ahead can be applied to every facet of one's life, basically. Because if you're going to do an exam, and you don't plan ahead by setting up a proper study schedule and sticking to it as best as possible, then you planning to pass that exam or to do well on that exam is really wishful thinking. So when I say that you should plan ahead, it's not just something that you can relegate or apply only to the acquisition of materialistic possessions. It can be applied to every aspect of your life. And so the second point that I want to discuss with you is how, when you plan ahead, this allows you to save time. It allows you to save time because once you become specific about the particular goal that you wish to achieve, you don't have to now sit down and try to figure out how you're going to go about achieving this goal. Because once you know what it is, you do your research and you know what you need to do to get there. So you write down your action steps. And then you begin to take steps every day, incremental steps every day or at least every week. And that's a part of the planning again, because when you plan, you know that every day or every week, you're going to dedicate a certain block of time to what it is that you want to accomplish. And I was reading this new book that was written by a Jamaican entrepreneur. Her name is Nicole McLaren Campbell. I don't know, some people may know her. She's the wife of an artist, I think it's Assassin or one of those guys. And she is very brilliant. And in her book, it's a really short book. You guys should probably get it. I don't know, for some reason, I'm forgetting the name of the book right now. But it's about 45 pages. It's on Amazon for like $7.99. In the book, she was basically saying that time is not something that you can create, right? I've been saying it, time without number, that we really get the same number of hours in a day, 24. And some of us have families, we have husbands and children, we have full-time jobs, some of us are juggling jobs, school, children. It's a lot. All our lives are different and we all have different obligations. So what you really have to do is to decipher what is important to you and then carve out some time for this. And this is what Mrs. McLaren Campbell is saying. She's saying that you have to carve out some time specifically for the thing that you want to accomplish, and then make sure that you stick to that time as best as possible. When you do that, it actually allows you to save time because you have a plan, you have an action plan. And once you have an action plan and you know what it is that you want to accomplish, you don't waste time on things that are frivolous and on things that are just mere distractions. Hi Tracy, it's good to see you on here. Thanks for joining. A lot of things that we engage in on a daily or weekly basis, they're just distractions. And so many times you may suggest to someone, okay, let's go to the gym, let's go exercise. And they may say, I don't have the time. Or you may suggest to someone, let's start this business, small business. Oh, I don't have the time. Let us go back to school and get the certificate. It's a quick course, 6 weeks, and you're going to learn how to become a better entrepreneur. Oh, I don't have the time. But the same person who doesn't have the time, they try to justify their excuse that they don't have enough time by saying, oh, I have a full-time job and I have a baby and I have a husband to take care of, so I really do not have time. And there are instances in which people who find themselves in such situations do not have a lot of time. However, many of those persons who are quick to say, I don't have enough time, they're just holding on to excuses and perpetuating these excuses. Because you will find that the very same people, they have time to sit down and watch their favorite show on TV religiously. Some of these shows are things that come on once, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. Some of them are soap operas or whatever, and most times they last from half an hour to 1 hour. And these people find the time to watch it, but they say that they don't have enough time to achieve their goals. What you have to understand is that the attainment of your goal and the amount of time you spend doing it is not left to anyone but yourself. It means that there is no mandate that you have to stick to. It makes no difference if you're spending 1 hour per day and someone else is spending 8 hours. You have to do what you can where you are with what you have. And I'm quoting Les Brown here. I love Les Brown. And he's saying that you have to basically make use of the resources that you have now. And time is an important resource. So stop telling yourself that you don't have time, because as I said, what Mrs. McLaren Campbell is saying is that you have to carve out the time that you need, because we only get 24 hours. If you work a full-time job and you're at work for 8 hours, I'm not telling you to go on the people's job and use their time to do your work. Definitely not. You're going to maximize that work too. But you also have to factor in travel time, and for some people it's 1 hour each way, so that's already 10 hours out of a 24 hours day. And if you're religious in terms of your sleeping and you want to sleep 6 to 8 hours, that's another, how many hours is that? Someone help me with the math. I'm so bad. But that's 16 to 18 hours a day. So already you're left with just like six to 8 hours. Now you have to take care of the kids, make sure they get ready for school, and you have to cook, and you have to make sure that you give some time to your husband or your wife, and that's another 3 to 4 hours. So now you're down to only 2 hours. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are going to use those remaining 2 hours to watch a soap opera and tell yourself that you're unwinding, how is that beneficial to you? How is that allowing you to get closer to your goal? Or is it that you're comfortable with the life that you have now and there is nothing more that you need to do, nothing more that you need to be? Thanks, David, and hi, Sasha. It's good to see you here. So, guys, the point I'm making is that I'm not forcing you to do anything, and at the end of the day, if you're not ready, the time is just not right. I remember one time, my mentor put a quote online. She was talking about me and how I was able to step into my greatness, so to speak. And she had used a quote. She said that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And essentially, if you're not ready, there is nothing that I can say right now that will move you. And I understand that. There's a time and place for everything. And if it is not your time, it's fine. There were times when I used to hear similar speeches to what I'm giving right now, if I may call it that. And I would just let them go by because it wasn't the time. I had other things that I was focusing on, and the time was just not right. But if you feel like there is something more that you can give, but there is something holding you back, then maybe one thing that I say today might connect with you on some level. Hold on to that and use that to take your next step, because you have to realize that time is not something that you can ever get back. I've been speaking to you for what, maybe 10, 12 minutes already, and I cannot get back those minutes. Do I regret speaking to you? Of course not. I enjoy that. I love that. I love helping people and sharing with them the little insights that I have. I'm very grateful for that. But it's not enough for me to keep it to myself. I have to share it. But the point I'm making is that time that you have used, you can never regain. And in the same breath, time wasted can never be regained. When you sit in front of that TV watching that soap opera or watching The Big Bang Theory, it's something I love, but what I do is I don't watch it every time it comes on. I just allow it to go, and then one day when I decide that that's my day to unwind and just not think about stuff, I may watch for 2 hours. 4 episodes or so. And for me, it's better because when you do that, you skip the commercials, you skip all that additional stuff, you get through more of it and in less time. So that's a way of saving time. And maybe because I'm doing so many things, why saving time is so important to me, because sometimes I find myself planning my day down to the minute. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's something I picked up when I was in university. Sometimes you really have to do that. I used to have 2 jobs, and I had school full time when I was in undergrad studying law, and I also had many positions on campus. So I literally had to plan my day down to the minute. So I would know that I'm going to sleep for 4 hours, I'm going to get up at X time, I'm going to take half an hour to get ready, I'm going to take 15 minutes to walk to class, and it was like that. It was really, really rigid. But at the end of the day, I felt like I was performing optimally because I was able to account for my time and there was no time for me to waste. Did I still have hours here and there where I did things that were not necessarily helping to uplift me? Yes, I did, but those hours were minimized. So I'm not telling you to go out there and act crazy trying to be Superman or Superwoman. But what I'm saying is try as best as possible to minimize the amount of time that you spend on minor things, on things that are distracting you and detracting from your dream. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, remember, we came here, all of us came here for a reason, not to live mediocre lives, but to live our best possible lives. And success is not something that is reserved for a select few people in our society. That's a myth. That's a fallacy. And if you think that, if you're thinking that, no, I want you to dispel that notion because it is not true. You came here for a reason. You have talents and gifts that you have not used yet. And I love quoting Dr. Miles Monroe, may his soul rest in peace. And he said that the richest place on the planet is the graveyard. Because in that place you find a lot of people who had a lot of potential. But your potential is nothing unless you develop that into something that can impact your life and impact the lives of the people around you. So now I'll just segue into the third and final point, which is when you plan strategically, when you plan ahead, it helps to reduce frustration. And I'm going to tell you why this is so important. It is important because frustration is inevitable, period. There are times in your life when no matter how well you plan, no matter how well you use your time, you are going to get frustrated because it's just life. Sometimes you're working on your goals and you have your steps written down and then life throws you a curveball and you're thrown off course and you get frustrated. Life happens. Sometimes you have a death in the family or a friend and you just have to stop because you shut down. Your emotions are just all over the place. And that's going to get you frustrated because you're thrown off course. Sometimes you're in the middle of just putting the greatest idea you've ever had on paper and your little 2-year-old comes and says, "Mommy, I'm hungry." And that throws you off and you're momentarily frustrated, depending on where you are in your life. There are some people who will tell you that they just embrace it and say, "Oh, thank God, I have a baby to call me mommy." But it depends. I'm just saying, life happens and the simplest of things could get you frustrated. So when you plan ahead, when you carve out the time to do the things that are of import to you, when you optimize based on when you're most functional, whether it is morning time or evening time, it reduces the frustration that you feel when life itself happens anyway. You're going to get frustrated. So imagine you're already operating on this momentum where things are just randomly going to happen that frustrate you or that are capable of frustrating you. And on top of that, you have all these big dreams, these big goals, and you say, "You know what, I'm just going to let life take its course." Imagine the chaos which will ensue when you do that. You cannot leave your life up to chance. Why should you? There are so many variables, so many extraneous variables that we cannot control. So the ones that you can control, I think that you need to step up to the plate, take control of your life and do what is best for you. Just today I was speaking to one of my clients and she's going through some things right now and she was just deflecting. Every time we came upon something that was supposed to be important to her, she would deflect and she would say, "But I'm doing this for him. I want him to be happy." Well, that's amazing. She has a big heart. So she wants, the persons who are close to her to be happy. I get that. We should all ascribe to that status. We should all try to make other people happy. Well, at the end of the day, if you are not happy, if you're not exuding happiness and you're trying to make other people happy, it's not going to work. So the point I'm making is that you have to make you your number one. Just like when you're on the airplane and they say that if there is an emergency, you need to first put on your mask, your oxygen mask, before you even put it on for the baby beside you. It's the same thing in life, because guess what? If you try to help other people around you and you don't put on yours and you start losing air because you're at that high altitude, guess what's going to happen? You will have no use to yourself, let alone the other people around you. But if you follow the instructions and you put your mask on first, then there is no limit to the number of persons that you might be able to help. Maybe persons beyond the one sitting beside you. So the point I'm making to you, ladies and gentlemen, is put on your oxygen mask for you first. Take control of your life first. And for those who are watching or going to watch later, I encourage you to go back and watch from the beginning. And I'm just going to reiterate the 3 key points that I discussed here today. Namely, make sure you plan ahead so as to maximize your potential and achieve the success that you want to achieve. Secondly, planning ahead will help you to save time, to maximize the use of your time. And finally, when you plan ahead, it helps to reduce frustration, which is inevitable in any event. Thank you so much for joining me once again this Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have amazing lunches. I hope you have a great day. Thank you. You're most welcome, Miss McKinley. She says, this is great help. Thank you so much. You're most welcome. Anything I can do to help, I'm happy to do it. So ladies and gentlemen, you are more than welcome to join my mindset motivation group. It is called Manifest Your Greatness, Believe and Grow. In that group, we share empowering messages every single day, something empowering, even if it's just a line to remind you to stay on track, to believe in yourself even when things seem to be at their most devastating level. So you are welcome to join that group. It's Manifest Your Greatness, Believe and Grow. You can opt to join and I'll accept right away. And all those persons who are already in the group, feel free to share if you have something that motivates you, if it's a word, a thought, an essay, whatever it is. Feel free to share so that someone else within the group can benefit from what you're sharing as well. Secondly, I mentioned last week that I have some really exciting news, and that is I am about to be a part of an anthology. I am so excited. I've been wanting to tell my story for the longest while, and now I have the chance to tell my story with the most amazing group of people. Over 32 entrepreneurs are going to be in that book with me, and it will be published in August. I will give you more ideas and more insights about what the book will be about, and I'm completely psyched. Can I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is just going to change the course that I'm taking already, and I'm really excited to share that with you. It's just the beginning, and I want all of us to come together and be great together, because it's possible. And it is necessary for us all to take the reins in our lives. You can also subscribe to my website at www.shauna-kaye.brown.com or follow me on Instagram at SKB Renaissance Woman. Until next time, have yourselves an amazing day, an amazing week, and God bless you. I'm out.